Hey, these brothers. You know what, bro? I love coming on here, man. I love coming on here and sharing experiences with my brothers, concerning relationships. And I've come on here, man, and I've shared stories about my fifth grade girlfriend, kissing another guy. I've talked about my middle school girlfriend. I've talked about long relationships I've been in. I've talked about cheating. I've talked about doing some wrong things myself. I've shared a lot of things with y'all brothers, man. But if I'm honest with myself, a lot of these bad situations that I found myself in, that I speak of, nowadays, man, a lot of these situations could have been avoided if I would have done my due diligence and observed where these connections were made. You know what I'm saying? Observed if the connection was based on actual attraction or if it was based on a trauma bond. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm aware now, man, especially with the way the world is operating, a lot of, I won't say most, but a lot of relationships, a lot of people coming together, a lot of people having long relationships, a lot of people getting married and living long lives. A lot of people are complaining about the things they're complaining about strictly because the connection was based on something low vibrational. Simply because the connection was based on trauma and not real, true attraction. You know what I'm saying? And when I say attraction, I'll say this. Of course, when you meet somebody, of course you're drawn to them. Of course, everybody has that initial threshold, right? Where as far as us men, sometimes it's gonna be, you know what, she was fine, man. So that's what made me even talk to her. Or she was sexy, or she had an ass, or her lips were doing this. And everybody has their thing. Some of us are boob men, some of us are booty men, some of us are, all kind of body part men, right? But that initial thing, those initial maybe attributes got her through the door. Or with women, man, a lot of the things might be, of course, women want to be attracted as well, but man might have had a good career, or he might appear like he might be a good father. I don't know, whatever it is that women, are normally drawn to. So we all go through that first stage of being drawn to somebody. And then, we have a series of phone calls. We have some FaceTimes. We might go on a few dates. We might do whatever, right? And at some point, if that thing is going to move forward, if that relationship is going to move forward, like a connection has to be established. If there's no connection, there's no relationship. You know what I'm saying? So a connection has to be established. But the thing is, we have to start observing what that connection is based on. You know what I'm saying? Because it can either be based on something high vibrational, true attraction, or it can be based on a trauma bond, something low vibrational, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing we have to start observing, man. You got to understand, a lot of people, like a lot of people's desires or the things that a lot of people want to be connected with is that. Like a lot of people may say, hey, you know what? I'm looking for a man that's this, or I'm looking for a woman that moves like this, and this. But you'll see these type women all the time. You'll encounter these type men all the time, and you never really gravitate to these brothers or sisters. It's not until you see that low vibrational person that you connect with that things end up moving forward, right? I can remember the situation, man. Back in the days, right? My sister's about, and I call her my little sister, man, but my sister's about 5 years older than me. And one thing my sister, man, she's always done is keep me in a loop. And when I say keep me in a loop, I mean keep me by her side, right? Meaning, when I was young, back when she was like 16 and I was like 12 or whatever I would have been, like if my sister was going to a party, if she was going to a dance, if she was going to the skating ring, my sister kept me right there, bro. Which means I was always in a room with people that were older, right? I was always attracted to my sister's friends. My sister always has had the baddest friends, man. And I can remember always trying to shoot my shot. And I can remember this, and I've had a couple of wins and I've had a many of L's, right? But I can remember, man, back when I was, I don't know, I might have been 13 or 14-ish, right? Back when my sister was in college. Again, my sister would keep me by her side. I'm a young buck, 13, 14, whatever. And I'm up in Greek parties, man. I'm up in Greek parties with all these college people, man. I'm just a young buck, right? Again, my sister had these bad friends. And she had this one friend. I'm not going to say her name, man. She had this one friend, bro, that when I say a bad chick, to this day, she's still probably in the top 5 beautiful women I've ever seen in my life. Ever seen in my life. She was like a Jasmine guy mixed with, hell, I don't know. She had a look of her own, man. She was just a bad chick. Anyway, man, I can remember one day going to, I was in Nacogdoches. My sister went to Stephen F. Austin. I'm in Nacogdoches, man. I believe I was staying the weekend in my sister's house. And of course, her sorority sisters were over there. She was my sister's Sigma Gamma Rho, I believe. And her sorority sisters over there, man. And this chick was there, right? And of course, I'm a young buck, man, and I ain't got no game, but I'm trying to let her know I'm attracted to her type stuff. And you know, she looking at me as a little youngster, man, and she like, you know, she giving me a little flirt, but it ain't no happen. She just playing with me like I'm my sister's little brother, right? But I'm really trying to shoot my whole shot, right? Anyway, that was that, right? Fast forward about 3 or 4 years. Now, this 3 or 4 year period, man, Soul did some evolving. Soul went from just being that small little brother to being what I would call back then a Soul 2.0. Back in my teenage years, man, Soul had evolved, man. Soul was on some dope boy vibes, man. I was on some, you know. Long story short, I'll say this. I'm at home one day, right? I'm still living in my mom's house. I was a teenager, right? And my sister comes home from college. And like she always does, man, she brings these sorority sisters with her, right? And this particular girl, this particular young lady was with her at this time, right? Now they pull up, but I say I'm Soul 2.0, right? So they pull up, man. I'm pants sagging. I'm hat down. I'm hat slammed to the ground. I'm out there washing my whip. I'm out there beating down the block with the music. I'm out there hydraulics, man. I got the whip sitting on stilts, so it's jacked up in the air. It's just a whole different vibe, man. And I remember seeing old girl, man, and she was even badder, right? And I remember giving her the head nod, speaking to all the friends. Anyway, I'm out there chilling, man. I'm out there red eye. You know what I'm saying? I'm out there on a whole nother, you know, I'm out there on a whole different timeline, right? And I don't know how long I was out there, but this chick comes outside. Now, I don't know if she was telling my sister whatever, like I'm going to the car. I don't know what she did, but she outside solo. And she come over there talking, man. And the thing is, at that point, our conversation is like, almost like we've dated before. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand, back then it wasn't no social media, it wasn't no Facebook, it wasn't no nothing, right? We having a conversation almost like we dated before. And I can remember her saying this, man. It was the most toxic situation I've ever had, about toxic conversation. And she like, yeah, you know what? And she was like, I like dope boys. I like drug dealers. I like this. I like dudes that do this. Like she listed every red flag that a woman her age should have listed, man. She was like, I like this. I like that. And I was like, damn. Long story short, man, we exchanged numbers and we talked for a bit. We talked maybe I don't know, a few weeks, maybe a month. Never smashed, never connected. She kept inviting me to go to some kind of event that was going on, but we never connected. I believe this was probably a time when I was probably in between, you know, me and my girlfriend, which was my son's mom, which eventually being my wife. That was probably a time where her and I probably broke up for a while, you know, probably had some teenage breakup or whatever. But it lets me know, man, that a lot of people are strictly connected on some toxic shit. Like when she saw me moving in a whole different zone, brother, like the age gap, everything went away. It was straight connection. It was straight, let's hook up. You got to understand, man, a lot of people connect on that level, even as adults. A lot of people connect on that level. You know, something that's weird, man, that's very common. That's very common. Like I'll be willing to say, and I don't know what percentage I would throw out there, man, but y'all know just as much as I know that most relationships we see, let's just keep it 100 with ourselves, bro. Let's not even front. Most relationships we see, the majority, and when I say majority, meaning at least 51% of the relationships we see, people on the gram, in the book, people you see at the mall, people you see it, 51% of these people have at least one of those people are cheating. And I think that's a low number. Y'all can lie to y'allself if y'all want to. At minimum, 51% of relationships have cheating in them. Right? But you got to understand this. Man. A lot of times, and this is something people don't really talk about. A lot of times, man, you'll have two people in a relationship, whether it's, whether you have a man that's stepping out cheating or you have a woman stepping out cheating, it don't matter. A lot of times you'll have people that are in these quote unquote healthy relationships and they're cheating. And sometimes these relationships end up in, you know what, I'm going to leave my husband and get with this man, or I'm going to leave my wife and get with this woman. Right. And what people will find is once they leave their partner, their person, and go out to that toxic relationship, that relationship crumbles almost instantly. It's because it was based on something toxic. Like if you're sitting there and you're a woman or a man and you're sitting there, you stepping with somebody outside, you in the bed with your girl and you texting some side piece for 2 years, y'all hook up, she sneaky link or whatever, and y'all hitting hotels, y'all having this freaky, nasty, sexy whole shebang. When you separate from your woman or sister, when you separate from your man and get in this scenario, and then y'all sitting there looking at each other and wonder why the sparks are gone after 1 week, wondering why the vibe is not the same after a month, it's because it was based on something else. It's because you're no longer fulfilling their truth. If their truth is I'm only drawn to people that are cheating, then once you become upright and you're no longer cheating and now you're theirs, they're really no longer attracted to you. And to be honest, most people can't speak to that. Most people can't tell you, hey, you know what? I've lost interest in you because you moving right now. They can't say that. It'll just kind of fade away. They really won't know why they're uninterested. You got to understand, man, a lot of these situations are based on trauma. They're based on trauma. And once the trauma is eliminated, the attraction is gone. The attraction is gone, man. And I use cheating, for example, but you can look at the same scenario based on abuse. Abuse. You can have some woman, man, attracted to a man because she saw mom and daddy moving a certain way, hitting on each other and all kind of stuff growing up. And she gets with a man, right? She gets with a man and he's moving in that same order, right? And for some reason, this brother puts himself in a power circle of men and understands that, hey, brother, I got to start walking in a certain manner. Like I understand that my whole life is built on trauma, and he corrects himself. He starts moving different. Now in that household, man, wife is going to lose something for him if that's her truth. If the relationship, if the connection was established based on him or her being abusive, then once that abuse goes away, the attraction is going to fade. It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy, man, but people don't understand. First off, people don't understand how strong a truth is. Shameless plug. If you don't have a singular truth, get a singular truth. I talk about the power of a truth. But besides that, people don't understand how if you connect on a toxic truth, then your relationship has to be toxic. Like if you get in a relationship and there's nothing but cheating, there's nothing but abuse, there's nothing but all forms of trauma. You got to understand, man, it had to be rooted in that. It had to be rooted in that. And I can easily look at myself, man, and say, you know what? The relationships that I can look at, and now that I look back and I can speak on them, they were formed on toxic beginnings. They were formed on toxic beginnings. We have to start understanding the difference, man, between being drawn to somebody and connecting with somebody on a toxic level or really an attractive level. And when I talk about attraction, man, I'm talking about the connection is based. When I say connection based on high vibrational things, bro, I'm talking about, okay, once you meet a chick, and of course it's gonna be physical for us brothers initially. Yeah, she cute. Yeah, she this. Yeah, she that. Once you get past that, once y'all get past, if y'all get to getting intimate and this freaky nasty and all this stuff, once y'all start forming a deeper bond, if that bond is I'll just say like this, that bond needs to be built on future things. That bond needs to be built on what can we build together? What can we create together? Like if we join our energetic forces, if we join our immortal minds together, what can our future look like? If it's not based on that, bro, it's probably based on some trauma bond shit, man. If your energy isn't, I can grow old with this person. If your energy isn't, I can see myself rocking back and forth on a porch with this person. I can see myself spending the rest of my days traveling around the world and building legacy and having grandkids and that whole scenario, that whole type conversation. If your idea of moving forward, if that idea of moving forward isn't there, it's probably based on some lower vibrating shit, man. You know what I'm saying? If it isn't based on, like I'm gonna tell you this, I can tell you this, man. And looking back, I can see this now. But when I have a true connection with a woman, it's something about it's something like this. This has always been a key element for me in my relationship, and it may be kind of morbid. But when I look at a woman that I want to spend my forever with, it's this one element that I want her to have, man. I always want that woman to be a good representative of me when I'm gone. Of course, I want her to represent me in the current time. We out and about, man. I want her to represent me. And to be honest, I haven't always made that right choice, bro. I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it a whole 1,000, right? But not only should a woman represent us as men, but I really be on some MLK shit when I go there, man. I really, and I'm just assuming I'm gonna always die before my wife. Who knows, right? But I be on some stuff where, like, you know what? If it's a real, true connection, then there's a thought in my mind where when I'm gone, I want that woman to still be able to represent me in a solid way, like on some Coretta Scott type stuff, right? So, and I'll be honest, I've been with some women, I've been with some women the long way where I never had that thought, man. I never had that thought whereas, you know what? If I'm gone, if I die today, is she a true representative of me? Is she a true representative of me? And I'm not saying that a woman shouldn't move on with her life and do whatever, but the fact that she's moving in a certain way, she still represents who I am. Like, that's a key indicator for me. And like when I'm always talking about MLK, like I use the example, a lot of us never heard Martin Luther talk. We've seen one or two clips, we've seen pictures, but we've never seen him on YouTube. We've never been in a speech of his. But all of us feel like we know everything about Martin Luther King strictly because of Coretta. The way Coretta moves, her grace, the way she presents herself. It's like, oh, I know Martin because I know her. I see her. So that's always been a key indicator for me, man. And if you don't look at a woman in that state, it's probably not based on something long term. It's probably based on some toxic behavior, brothers. Some toxic behavior, sisters. So all I'm saying is this. A lot of the situations we find ourselves in, we have to just start being honest with ourselves, man. We have to, of course, once we get past that initial, oh, well, she got a fat ass. Oh, well, he got a Lamborghini. Oh, well, he got a good job. Oh, well, she do that thing, whatever, Once we get past that, man, we really gotta analyze what it is we're connecting on. We really gotta analyze and observe where our conversation lies, what our behaviors are. You know what I'm saying? Simply the things that keep us connected. We have to understand, man, that it's either going to be true attraction or a lot of it's going to be built on trauma bond, brothers.